So this is an overview of filters and effects in Pro Tools. Filters and effects basically refer to the same thing. A filter is generally when you want to take something away from a sound, take away some bass, take away some high end of the sound.
Here is an example of my voice with the low end or low frequencies taken off.
It sounds like I'm speaking through a telephone or small speaker.
And here's an example of my voice with the high end taken off.
And this sounds like I'm speaking from the other side of a door or through a wall.
An effect is any effect you might use: distortion, echo. But generally, filters and effects are used interchangeably. So there are two ways that you can actually add effects in Pro Tools. One is through audiosuite, and the other is a real-time plugin which you add onto a track. First, I'm going to talk about audiosuite. Audiosuite plugins are accessed from this audiosuite menu, and if I open it, you'll see there are several different types of plugins, and within each of these folders is a selection of plugins. So here's reverb, here's distortion plugins, here are some pitch shift plugins. All of these are effects that you can add to a clip. The way audiosuite works is you select a clip, you go to audiosuite, choose the effect you want. I'm going to choose this pitch shift, pitch 2. And you use this little button on the bottom to audition it. To get it sounding the way you want. Once you like the way it sounds, you click render. And what it means by rendering is it takes the clip and it rewrites it as a new clip on the timeline. So if I expand this, you'll see this is electric mode, or we're pitch 2, meaning it replaced the original clip that was there with the pitch shifted clip. So that's one thing about audiosuite, is that it does rewrite the clip on the timeline. Now the original is still available. If we look at our clip list here, you can see there's the original, but in the timeline it is replaced with the affected version. So that's the one thing to remember about audiosuite. The second way you can add an effect is the real-time effect. Real-time effects affect entire tracks as opposed to clips. We want to make sure we see this inserts column here. If you don't see it, you go to this white drop-down menu and make sure inserts is checked. So I unchecked it, disappeared, checked it, we see inserts. Each of these little buttons here that you click on is another insert you can add. So you could add multiples. So if I click on this top button, and I go to multi-channel plugin. Once again, we have a whole selection that we can choose from. We'll try reverb. Okay, so now if we play, we're going to hear the effect. We can make adjustments to the effect, but there's no render button because all the rendering is done in real time on the timeline. So if we have multiple clips on the timeline, like this, each clip is going to have this effect on it. So just to recap, you have audiosuite, which is accessed by this drop-down menu, and that is applied on a clip-by-clip basis. Select the clip, choose the effect, audition it with the audition button. Once you like what you get, you click render, and it will rewrite the clip. Or you have real-time effects where you place the effect on the track, meaning everything on the track is going to be affected with that effect. So in this case, we have two effects on this track, so all the clips on this track are going to be running through both of these effects and be affected by both of them. So the advantage and disadvantage of each of these is with audiosuite. The advantage is you render the clip. You could do it on a clip-by-clip basis, so you can have different clips on the timeline affected differently. The disadvantage is you're rendering it, so it replaces the original clip in the timeline. So if you were to come back to a project and you didn't like the effect that you did, you'd have to go back to your clip list and replace it with the original clip. The advantage and disadvantage of real-time effects. The advantage is you can change it at any given time. You just click on the effect and you could change the settings. The disadvantage is it's going to affect every clip on the timeline the same way. Another disadvantage is it uses processor power. So if you have enough of these added onto enough tracks, it could slow down your computer. So that's a general overview of filters and effects in Pro Tools.